Hello, and welcome to Intelligent Pod, the show where we dive deep into the science of how our minds shape the world around us, and sometimes the world inside us too. I'm your host, Sophie Lane, and today we're exploring one of the most fascinating and honestly mysterious phenomena in all of medicine and psychology, the placebo effect, and its lesser-known, slightly more mischievous twin, the nocebo effect. Together, we'll be unraveling why our brains sometimes act as their own best healers, or on the flip side, as their own worst enemies. So if you've ever wondered whether mind over matter is just a catchy saying, or something truly powerful, you're in the right place. Let's set the stage with a little scene you might recognize. Imagine you're at your doctor's office with a headache that just won't quit. The doctor hands you a small, white pill and assures you it will help. You take it. And voila, half an hour later, your headache melts away. Later, you find out the pill was just sugar, no active ingredient at all. And yet, your pain vanished. That right there is the placebo effect. A genuine, measurable benefit from a treatment that in theory shouldn't do anything. But what about the flip side? Imagine your doctor warns you, this medication might cause nausea. Suddenly, you start to feel queasy, even if the pill you took was just a sugar pill. That's the nocebo effect, when negative expectations make us feel worse, even if there's no real reason to. These aren't rare fringe occurrences either. Placebo and nocebo effects shape our experiences with pain, mood, immune responses, and even how we interpret medical side effects. But how does it work? Why are our brains so easily tricked, or maybe so incredibly powerful? Let's dig in. To start, let's talk numbers. The placebo effect isn't just a medical curiosity. It's been measured in countless studies across all kinds of conditions. In fact, in some clinical trials for depression, up to 35% of patients report improvement even when they're just taking a placebo. For pain relief, the numbers are similar, sometimes even higher. And it's not just about feeling better. Placebo responses can trigger real, observable changes in brain activity, heart rate, and the immune system. Now, the nocebo effect is less celebrated, but it's just as real. In one striking study, patients who were told that a harmless cream would make their skin itch actually started to experience itching, sometimes more than if they'd been given an actual irritant. It's a reminder that our expectations can shake not just our emotions, but our physical sensations too. So, what's going on here? Let's look at this through a few different lenses. From a psychological perspective, the placebo and nocebo effects are all about expectation. If you believe strongly that a treatment will help or harm you, your brain gets to work making that expectation a reality. This is called expectancy theory. Our brains thrive on prediction, and sometimes they fill in the gaps with what we expect to happen, whether it's good or bad. There's also a powerful social dimension. Think about it. The context of a doctor's office, the authority of a white coat, the soothing tone of a nurse, these all reinforce our belief that we're being cared for, and that something positive or negative is about to happen. It's not just about the pill. It's about trust, ritual, and the signals we pick up from people around us. Let's look at the science. Neuroimaging studies show that when people take a placebo for pain, their brains actually release endorphins, the body's natural painkillers. PET scans have shown increased activity in the same brain regions that respond to real analgesic drugs. It's not all in your head, it's in your brain chemistry. Similarly, the nocebo effect can trigger stress hormones, or increase inflammation, making us genuinely feel worse. Now, let's widen the lens a bit. Culturally, the placebo effect has been harnessed, sometimes consciously, sometimes not, for centuries. In traditional rituals, healing ceremonies, or even with folk remedies, belief and expectation have long played a role in how people experience illness and recovery. It's easy to dismiss this as superstition. But modern science is revealing that belief itself is a potent force. Let's bring in an academic study here. One of my favorites is a 2002 paper from the New England Journal of Medicine. researchers looked at patients undergoing knee surgery for osteoarthritis. Some patients received the full surgery. Others had tiny incisions, but no actual procedure. The patients didn't know which group they were in. 2 years later, both groups reported the same level of pain relief and mobility. The sham surgery was just as effective as the real one. That's a jaw-dropping example of the placebo effect in action, one that rewired the way we think about some surgical treatments. And here's a real-life story to bring it closer to home. A friend of mine, let's call him Dan, once participated in a clinical trial for migraines. He was given a new medication, and within days, his headaches subsided. At the end of the study, he learned he'd been taking a placebo. He was stunned. He told me, "I really believed it would work, so it did. Now I don't know what to think." Dan's story isn't unusual. Belief, expectation, hope, all can be powerful medicine. But there's a cautionary tale here too. The nocebo effect reminds us that negative expectations can be equally powerful. In a 2012 study, researchers told participants they might experience side effects from a harmless substance. Many did: nausea, headaches, even fatigue. And when patients read long lists of possible side effects on medication leaflets, they're more likely to report those symptoms, even if they're unrelated to the drug. So, what does all this mean for us in daily life? How can we harness the good and avoid the bad? Here are a few actionable takeaways. First, be aware of your expectations. Notice when you're priming yourself for disappointment or discomfort. Our brains are wired to follow our lead, so try to cultivate realistic optimism, acknowledging challenges, but expecting things to improve. Second, be mindful of the information you consume. If you read every possible side effect on a medication leaflet, you might start to feel those symptoms. It's important to be informed, but don't let negative expectations take over. Third, if you're seeking treatment, medical or otherwise, find practitioners who inspire confidence and trust. The relationship you build with your doctor, therapist, or coach can amplify positive expectations and outcomes. Fourth, use rituals to your advantage. Whether it's your morning coffee, a favorite relaxation technique, or the act of getting ready for bed, routines help signal to your brain that something positive is about to happen. That's the placebo effect at work, helping you sleep better, feel calmer, or focus more. And finally, remember that your mindset matters more than we often realize. It's not about wishful thinking or ignoring real problems, but about recognizing the incredible power of expectation, belief, and trust. Let's recap. The placebo and nocebo effects remind us that our minds don't just interpret the world, they actively shape our experiences, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Science shows that belief can spark real changes in the body, influencing everything from pain to mood to recovery. But with that power comes responsibility. The stories we tell ourselves, the expectations we set, and the trust we cultivate all matter. So as you go about your week, ask yourself, where am I letting negative expectations hold me back? And where could a little positive belief give me a boost? Mind over matter isn't magic, but it is powerful. Thank you for joining me today on Intelligent Pod. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review on your favorite podcast platform. It really helps others discover the show. You can find detailed show notes, links to studies, and more at intelligentpod.com. And if you have thoughts, feedback, or your own placebo or nocebo stories, I'd love to hear from you. Email me anytime at sophie@intelligentpod.com. Until next time, this is Sophie Lane reminding you, your mind is more powerful than you think. Stay curious, stay intelligent, and take care.